I can hear you, Tony.
Okay.
Our Dougie?
Caddy at our club in Chicago.
No way.
Yeah. Known him a long time.
Yeah, back in the day.
Well, he knew my dad back in the day. I've met him since back in the day. Guys, we're going to be doing a press conference up here.
Got it.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hi, Tony.
Hey, Doug, how's it?
Good, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good on y'all's in there?
Yep, look good, Doug.
Okay, well, we will go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome Tony Finau to the virtual press room here at the 2021 BMW Championship. Tony, congratulations on your second career PGA Tour win last week at the Northern Trust. Now that the dust is settled, I know you've done a lot of talking, a lot of interviews, a lot of shaking hands and so forth. Just a couple comments on how you're feeling now that you've had a day or two to kind of let things sink in.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. Thanks. It's been a fun couple days, you know, since Monday, since the, you know, that last putt dropped. It's been really cool to just be able to experience a win again, and to be able to experience with so many people that have reached out and have I've been able to share this win with so many that I knew about, didn't know about. So it's been really cool to see the amount of joy a lot of people have for my success. You know, selfishly, I want to win, and of course, you know, that's a really cool thing. But to be able to see how many people have enjoyed this win for me, my family, my friends, it's been really cool for me. So I've been soaking it up, and just finished the Pro-Am, so, you know, right back at it this week. But I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, I think I'm in great position here in the FedEx Cup now to make a serious run at winning the FedEx Cup. So my attention needs to turn to that. And but I have enjoyed these last couple days soaking in another victory. It's been 5 years. You were at the last one, Doug. In Puerto Rico, seems like a really long time ago. So I'm a totally different player than I was then, and but it's, you know, everything is earned out here. All the wins are earned, and I definitely had to earn that second one.
Well, I know I speak for a lot of people and I couldn't be happier for you. And you mentioned the FedEx Cup. You are in actually the greatest position right now, coming into the week with the #1 spot, moving top 10 in the world rankings. Moving on to this week, you're making your 7th start in the BMW Championship, and I was looking at your results. You haven't finished worse than 8th in your last 4 starts here. Obviously, different courses. Is there something about the playoffs maybe that kind of gets your blood pumping a little bit more that can help result in some of those top 10 finishes?
Yeah, I think it's almost like the major championships, where you have that little extra energy about you, and you know you're coming towards the end of a season, and you always want to, no matter if you're playing 18 holes, 72 holes, there's always something about finishing strong, finishing your season strong. And so I've always tried my best to do that, and I've played nicely in this tournament, and you know, I want to continue that this week. I'm playing some good golf, and, you know, piggyback off that victory last week and take that momentum right into this week.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, we'll take a few questions. We'll start with Steve DeMeglio with USA Today. Steve, go ahead.
Tony, just curious, how did you celebrate Monday night?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. We went to Ruth's Chris after I left the course with my manager, my caddy, and my coach Boyd, and we had a meal. We finished leaving there about 11 o'clock, and then I couldn't really sleep. I was still on quite a high, which was cool. And then about 3 a.m. came around after returning some messages, talking to some family, and then Boyd and I got hungry again, and so we went to McDonald's about 3 a.m. and got some fast food. You know, I haven't been into fast food like I was when I was a kid, but I felt like worth the price of admission at the time. So we hit up McDonald's at 3 a.m. I fell asleep about 5 a.m. I was back up at 8 a.m. and normal routine. I worked out in the morning, and then I shot my way over here. So that's kind of what I was up to.
What was your go-to at McDonald's? What did you have?
Oh, I mean, I had a lot. I ordered a Big Mac. I had a double quarter pounder with cheese, and then 10 chicken nuggets. It reminds me of when I was a kid, and I had large fry with Oreo McFlurry and a bottle of water. So and I had no problem cleaning all of it up.
Okay. Could you give a few more details? How many people did reach out to you? Who were some of the most important ones that you got?
Yeah, well, right out of the gate, one of the first messages, once I got down to reading all the messages, one of the very first was from Tiger, and that was a very special one. You know, he was just explained to me that he was proud of me and the fight and grit that I had. So that was obviously a very, very special one for me to see. And again, he was one of the first, which means he was watching, which for me is very, very cool. So I have to throw that out there as probably right at the top. And then, you know, countless athletes. You know, Donovan Mitchell is an amazing basketball player for the Utah Jazz. You know, being a Jazz fan, that was a cool one for me. And, you know, my buddy Mike Conley, who's the point guard for the Jazz. But, I mean, those are just a few of, I feel like, so many people. It's been really cool to see how many are following my career and are, you know, genuinely happy for this, you know, this victory. So I've kind of starved, I think, a lot of my fans and supporters of a win for 5 years. So this one is special in that, you know, I've gained, I think, a lot of fans in these 5 years, and to be able to share this with so many people has been very, very special.
Just real quickly, hundreds of messages, thousands?
Yeah, in the thousands for sure. Yeah, it was, but it's, yeah, it was in the thousands, which is, again, is just pretty amazing how many people were willing to reach out and just show me their support and how happy they were for me.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, we go now to Jay Drew in Salt Lake City. Jay, go ahead.
Hey, Tony, congratulations.
Thanks,
kind
Jay.
of previous question asker kind of asked my question, but just as far as the Utah element and the Salt Lake City ties that you have, what were your feedback? You already mentioned Donovan and Mike Conley. Even the governor tweeted something out about it. What kind of feedback have you gotten from your friends back here in Utah?
Yeah, well, I never shy away from being proud to be from Utah. I have so many supporters, so many friends and family, all from Utah. And again, like I mentioned before, Jay, people that, you know, I really didn't know were following me, which is really cool. So I've had tremendous support from Utah from day one, and it was great to share this with all my fellow Utahns and just golf fans and sports fans and fans of mine. So it's really special. And you know, Jay, you've seen me play, you know, growing up in Utah, and are one of those guys that have followed my career for a very long time, and so we all kind of share this together, and that's been extremely special for me to share it with all my Utahns who've known me a lot longer than just on the PGA Tour. You know, enjoyed this journey with me since I was a kid, and so pretty special to celebrate it with all my fellow Utahns.
Thanks, Tony.
Thanks.
Okay, next up we've got Shane Ryan with Golf Digest.
Hey, Tony, congratulations. Hopefully you can hear me. I don't think I have video. You know, my question was, you had to answer questions about winning for so long in a way that I think could have shattered somebody with, you know, less mental strength. So I was curious, was that harder than you led on at the time? You know, now that you've won, maybe you can say that. And then just as a second thing, do you consider yourself a mentally strong person?
Yeah, I consider myself a very mentally strong person, and it ties in with your first question. I think it was a lot harder. You know, a lot of those losses, you just have to take them on the chin. You know, I've always had an attitude of perseverance. That was something I was taught since I was a kid, and something that's very important to me is try and overcome the obstacles, try and learn from your mistakes and overcome. I will say it was extremely hard to do that. You know, I had a lot of disappointment and frustration from those losses, but I took it on the chin and I wanted to get better from it. What can I learn from it, and you know, how can I persevere through that? So you know, I didn't get discouraged. That was the biggest part. Was I used it as fuel to do better, to try and learn and not think about how impossible it is to have a feat such as winning a golf tournament and a big one. It was more of the attitude of, okay, not quite good enough yet, keep working. That's all it was. It was just, all right, keep doing what you're doing, you know, one foot in front of the other, and it's going to happen. And so I had to have that type of belief, but it was extremely hard to do that. But that's why, answering the second part of your question, I do feel like I'm a very mentally strong person, because we live in an era now where I mean, you guys are watching our every move, you know, and I'm gonna have, you know, critics, but that's how it is, and that's what I signed up for, you know, and I know that. So I expect that, and now that I've kind of broken that barrier, at least I feel like I have with this big second win. You know, my goal moving forward is to continue with this momentum and make a rundown at this FedEx Cup.
And speaking, Tony, real quickly of watching your every move, I've heard that you were at Whistling Straits semi-recently. Is that true? When was the last time you were there?
Yeah, I was just there a couple weeks ago, and it was just for a shoot, and I had for one of my sponsors, which was actually Aon,
Okay.
which was Aon. So I wasn't out there for at that point. You know, it's not like I knew I was on the team or anything. You know, I still don't know at this point if I'm on the team, but I have a great opportunity to make the team this week, and so there's a lot riding on last week, and just like this week, there's a lot riding on this week. So, but I was there for a sponsor obligation, not to like practice or anything.
Did you get on the course at all, or no, just the shoot?
Yeah, I was out on the golf course, and we played. I spent time with a few different groups, so I got through about 15 holes there. I didn't play all of them, but I saw most of them, and it was cool to see the infrastructure and everything. You know, the golf course looks prime for the Ryder Cup.
Appreciate it, Tony. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we got Doug Ferguson with the AP next.
Tony, is your beard fuller than we're used to seeing?
Yeah, it's a lot fuller, Doug. It's grown in nicely. You know, I've been growing this.
It looks nice.
Thank you. Yeah, it is a lot fuller, but I told my wife before this playoff run, I said I'm not shaving it until I know I made the Ryder Cup team or I win. So those are the two goals going into these playoffs, and I was able to knock that right off. So don't be surprised if you guys see me tomorrow and she's all gone.
All right. Listen, a simple question. Why do you think people like you so much?
I mean, I don't know how to.
Brutal question. I know it's brutal, but
No,
I was asking John yesterday, and nobody.
I don't know how to.
Winning right away, and he was just so happy for you. And he probably
Yeah,
had
he's-
like preference. What is
yeah.
it about you do you think that people have warmed up to?
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that, Doug. I just know that I try my best to treat people the way that I would like to be treated. I've always tried to do that in a respectful way, no matter how I feel about what's going on in my life. I think I've been able to take the losses on the chin with class, and that's something that I was taught since I was a kid. No matter what in your life, how things go, sportsmanship is very, very important. And I want to be a light for those around me for exactly that. You're gonna have if you want to be good at anything, you're gonna go through some really, really hard times. When you go through those, it's okay to be nice, it's okay to be kind still. I never wanted to be one where golf was gonna kill me. I've seen it happen to too many people where they let the game literally drive them crazy. And I've never wanted that to be the case. So no matter what, the game has given me so much already to this point in my career. I have no animosity towards the game of golf and towards my life. I have an amazing life because of the game, and I try to portray that in who I am and how I am. So I'm a very grateful person, and I try to portray that, and I think that has helped on my journey to just attract people that want to see me succeed.
I have to ask, was there ever a moment in terms of learning how to lose with class? Was there ever a teaching moment as a kid?
Yeah, it's actually a really good one. So I was playing a high school match, and my freshman year, I had on the very last hole, if I two-putted this hole, I would have gotten to a playoff to win the individual medalist as a freshman, which is a big deal. I'm playing against this senior in high school, and I lag it up there. If I'm about 40 feet, lag it up to about 5 feet. I go on to lip that one out, and then I go to tap it in because I was really frustrated that I had now missed the playoff. I missed that out. I went to tap that in, so I ended up 5-putting the last green and stomping my feet around the hole, just like acting like a child. My dad didn't say a word to me, and my dad's, was my teacher and, my hero, but he didn't say a word to me when I left. I was grumpy. I got into the car. I was, really, really upset. but just from that silence, I understood what that meant to him, that was not how he raised me. That's not what champions do. That's not how you act on a golf course. So he actually didn't say anything to me, but I was so disappointed in myself that I said, that's never going to happen again. I don't want my actions to portray me as a person that is a brat. I'm not that way. That's not who I am. And so that was a teaching moment for me that I was never going to do that ever again. Not only was I not going to be mad about missing a short putt for potentially winning a tournament, but I'm going to deal with my losses, take it on the chin, and deal with it with class. So that was a big. Again, I was a freshman in high school, so as you would expect, maybe that's how they should. I should have acted, but I feel like I was better than that, and my parents taught me better than that.
Great, thanks, Tony.
Thanks.
Okay, we move now to Dylan DeChair with Golf Magazine. Dylan, go ahead.
Hey, Tony, I was just wondering if there was anything that you specifically did to kind of filter out any of that doubt or negativity that came in from the outside, if that mental toughness means you can hear it and still deal with it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, Dylan. That's more the second thing you said there. It's more about hearing it and just dealing with it. I wasn't really shielding it out, I think, but I was very determined just throughout the year to just not only prove myself right in that I was learning and that I can win on a big stage, but prove a lot of people wrong that I can win a big tournament. I can come down the stretch and make birdies when I need to and make big putts when I have to, and I feel like I'm that type of player. I had to keep believing, and last week was, I think, a big stepping stone for me just in accomplishing that. Maybe to silence some people, but more that I know what type of player I can be and the potential I can have out here. So I think that was cool to be able to just play really nicely on the back nine and get a W last week because of that.
And then is there anything that you would tell yourself, maybe a couple of years back now with the hindsight, knowing that, this big win was coming in the future?
It's taken me a while to learn how to control my wedges. That was a huge part last week. The greens were so soft. I've really learned how to control my wedges and hit them with no spin. That was a huge part of winning last week. I was able to chip out on the 6th hole last week to 85 yards to a back pin where it would have been very easy to land a ball close to the hole and spin it to 30 feet. I trusted what I was doing. I hit a knockdown 50 degree to a couple feet, saved par there. I hit it to a couple feet on 12 to another back pin. But little things like that added up throughout the week. But learning how to hit that shot, if I would have done that sooner, I think I would have won sooner. But that was part of my game that I knew I needed to get better at. And I have gotten a lot better at hitting knockdown shots and wedge shots with no spin. So that was a huge part, and I just wish I would have learned how to do that a little earlier.
Thanks, Tony. Congratulations.
Thanks, Dylan.
Okay, next up we've got Randy Dotson with Fairways Magazine in Utah.
Hey, Tony, you've been the inspiration for hundreds of junior golfers in Utah, especially in the Polynesian community and culture. I just wonder, do you feel the weight of that responsibility, and how important is it to you to help grow the diversity of golf, especially among our junior golfers in Utah?
Yeah, thanks, Dodds. I wouldn't say there's a weight that I feel. I think there's a responsibility that I have to just act according to what I believe and how I was raised. I think that's more than anything else. The Polynesian culture is a very respectful culture, very loving culture. I try to portray that in who I am and what I do. So hopefully I'm looked up to in that type of regard where, that's important. It is important to be a good person and things like of that nature. And then, to know that doing something different is okay. Polynesians don't really play golf. Rugby is kind of more, I think, the avenue for Polynesians and football and things like that. But I think we're a very talented type of people, and hopefully I'm just a beacon of, if you want to do something different, it's totally okay. You can succeed at anything. So.
Do you feel, your foundation now is a few years old and it's doing some great things? Are you happy with the way the Tony Finau Foundation has progressed in this movement?
Yeah, I'm really excited about the foundation, Randy. I think it's grown a lot bigger than I would have expected. We're 7 years now as a foundation. The amount of support has been overwhelming in Utah, and it's been really cool to get the support of the community back home. And all my sponsors are on board, making big donations. And then for me, it's the physical evidence of seeing the kids the lives that we touch. During the pandemic, we provided over 50,000 meals in 2020 to families throughout the Salt Lake Valley that were in need throughout that time. I mean, to see the physical evidence of the families that we helped and going to these elementaries and, having them say thank you for clothes and all these different things that, the reason I had the foundation, that's what makes it worth it, for me to continue to fight for those opportunities for the less privileged.
Thank you, Tony. Congratulations on your win. Very proud of your success.
Thanks, Dotts.
Okay, it looks like we've got one more, and we go to Barry from the Washington Post.
Hey, Tony, congratulations. Fergie mentioned earlier that John Rahm had nice things to say about you yesterday. He obviously congratulated you in person at a time that probably wasn't his favorite moment, given how the tournament ended. I just wonder what you've learned about him as a competitor over the years, and maybe a little bit off the course, how that is different from what we see on it.
Yeah, John's a great individual. I got to know him really well over the pandemic. We had those 13 weeks off last year in 2020 from the PGA Tour, where we took time away from tournament golf, and we played quite a bit of golf together at Silverleaf throughout that time, and really throughout that summer. We're both members at Silverleaf in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I got to know him really well there. We played a lot of golf together, and what a great kid. That's what I thought to myself. I said, I don't know if a lot of people see this side of John. They see that he's very fiery, he's very competitive, and they see that nature in him. He's such a kind human, he's a very generous person, and I enjoy being around him. So I think, he was very genuinely happy for me, which was so cool to see. Such a class act, and for him to stick around, meant a lot for me and our relationship, and just, it speaks volumes about who he is. He was willing to stick around and congratulate me. Like you said, he had a chance to win that. I felt like most of the day I was chasing him. He was the guy I was trying to beat, and I ended up doing that in the end, and he handled it with class, and he's very genuine about congratulating me. So wonderful individual, amazing golfer, but if he keeps messing around and hanging around, watching me and winning golf tournaments and hanging around, he's messing around with being a better person than he is golfer.
And on his golf, Tony, I mean, what does impress you about it's a pretty complete game at this point?
Very complete game. He's one that doesn't have a weakness. He can hit the ball high, low, right to left, left to right. He can chip and putt. So he has absolutely no weakness, and he's been one heck of a sparring partner in practice. He's beaten me more times than I've beaten him in practice when we have our matches. It's been great for my game, and vice versa. I believe, if you ask him, he'd say it's been good for his game as well for us to have these battles. So amazing player, and one of a very, very few select guys out here that don't have a weakness at all.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Okay, Tony on live. We got one more. Doug Ferguson, and then we'll wrap it up. Dougie, bring us home.
Sorry, Tony, just kind of an oddball one here, and it doesn't relate necessarily to the FedEx Cup, but we've had a super season basically with 6 majors and starting the way we did. Has there been any challenges to that? What's that been like?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a super season, but you try and just take it one tournament at a time. I don't think there's really a lot I can, as far as like feeling like it's been a longer season. It has definitely been, the pandemic was definitely tough because we had to deal with not having fans not there, getting tested. I think all of that was a big part of it. Was learning how to get used to the new normal of what it's like to be on tour, not having your spouses out, then eventually having them out. All those learning about the new protocols, I think did make the season feel very long and all those things. But we seem to be getting back towards a little bit more what we're accustomed to before the pandemic. I don't know if we'll ever get fully there, but yeah, I mean, with that being said, it has been an extremely long season. We've got 2 more tournaments left, and to be number 1 in the FedEx Cup is a huge deal. And hopefully we're having this conversation after the Tour Championship. That'd be really cool.
Thanks.
All right, well, Tony, we know you got to keep on moving, so we appreciate your time. On behalf of everyone, I couldn't be happier for you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Doug. Thanks, guys.
Great job. Yeah.
Okay, we're all good?